Hey everyone, Shikari Dill here, and this video is part 2 of my bear tank series. If you haven't seen part 1, I would highly recommend you go check it out. That was a fun video, but in this video, I get my bear tank up to level 70, I hop into heroic dungeons, and I compare the Plague Bear enchant to the Carnage Incarnate build. Stay tuned for this video as it's also a fun one, and I hope you enjoy. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Thomas and say thank you. He says, become the holy space chicken you were meant to be. Maybe we'll see a return of the Boomkin Paladin. Maybe I'll do a 2.0 video for TBC. We'll see what happens. But thanks so much. Super chats are a great way to support my channel and interact with all of you, but subscribing is free and would also help me out. Alright, so where we left off was I got a bunch of really amazing rolls on my abilities. I got all the defenses I could ever want or need for this build. I'm ready to do some Outland stuff. I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to Thrallmar. I'm going to do all the quests there because it gives a lot of really nice starting TBC gear that I can enchant. I'm thinking about picking up the enchant's Tainted Swipe, and I'm still going to put Contagious on there, so we're going to get that AoE disease build going. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to try it out. Well, one thing is nice, since I am a tank, I can kind of just round everything up and just kill all of them at the same time. Though my damage might be kind of low, but that's alright. Look at that, they respawn before I even finish killing them. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? This is insane. Oh, can I heal myself? No! Okay, well, there it is. I'm not gonna make it. Very rarely do I do this quest in one flyby, but when it does happen, it's very nice. But today is not that day, so we're gonna have to do another flyby. Oh well. So apparently the tip here is the quickest way to get the Shattrath is to die and then teleport to the nearest like city sanctuary area. We're just gonna let the Fell Reaver take me. So that way I can die, go to Shattrath, set my Hearthstone there, and we're good. Usually this guy's running at me. He's always where I'm like gonna be. So the fact that I actually have to chase him is kind of a different change of pace for once. Let's see how long I can survive this guy. We're gonna just pop everything. Bark skin. I ain't afraid of you. There it is. I actually survived pretty good there. I lasted a lot longer than I thought I would against the Fell Reaver at level 62. Tip for you guys in the Outlands. If you suicide and then you die and you click on Resurrect and Save Zone and you click on Closest City, this will take you to Shattrath. There you go. Now we don't have to run all the way there, and now we can just set our Hearthstone, and there it is. Done. Easy. So a third epic enchant that might be interesting that we can use is something called Pestilent Opportunist. Your bleeds increase the damage of your diseases by 5%. That might be pretty cool, especially if we can get Swipe to put a dot on the target using the talent Deep Wounds, which is a warrior, arms warrior talent. So if we get our Swipe to critically strike with Deep Wounds, and that'll apply a bleed on the target, which then will increase the damage of our diseases using the enchant Pestilent Opportunist. So that way we can link the bleed effect to the damage increase on our diseases. I think that might be a pretty good third epic enchant. Debilitating Roar. Your challenging roar also reduces the target's damage done by 15%. Its cooldown is reduced by 120 seconds, and duration is increased by 1 second. That's a really good enchant. I like that one too. I don't have Challenging Roar yet. I'm still waiting on my lucky skill card to finally give me Challenging Roar. But if I ever get Challenging Roar, I think that is also a very valid and solid epic enchant to run. Okay, so I finally got Tainted Swipe put on one of my pieces of gear. And so basically what's going to happen now is I can apply Rabies with my Mangle. I can apply Infected Blood with my Festering Strike, and then with Swipe, I'm also now going to be putting on a massive AoE dot to everything in my Swipe called Tainted Wound. So This is like the epitome of an AoE bear tank build. So I guess a really cool idea then we could do is we could also roll for Titan's Grip, and we can put two-handed weapons for the stat stick, or we could just do one two-handed weapon and then a shield in the offhand. I really like the threat generation a shield gives and the stats of the armor that a shield gives. So that could be a really cool option for us to go if we get Titan's Grip. So, yeah, so I think Firm Grip is a very solid talent that I'm probably going to put points into because it increases the value gained from our shield. And, well, I'm going to be using a shield, so I think it just makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 points into that. Obviously, we don't care about the block value that we get from it because a bear tank can't block. We're just going to face tank everything like a Giga Chad. So the extra armor from the shield is going to be quite nice. So my armor is up to 8,500, so we were actually blocking 52% of all physical taken. So that's very solid. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to queue up for some dungeons. We're going to do that. There we go. Dude, we are flying by this dungeon. Like, Plague Bear, recommend, guys. If you guys are interested in playing a bear build, Plague Bear is, it's fun. Just seeing all of the dots. I'm just gonna soak all of the explosions because I have survival instincts. It's on a 1-minute cooldown with talents. It's insane. Actually insane. I ran all the way to Nargrand, and I'm probably gonna do a Ring of Blood soon with an aura. That should push me from 65 to around 70, maybe give or take if I need to do some more quests. But yeah, so far it's been a very smooth experience. I think Plague Bear is really good so far. I can't wait to take it into Heroic Dungeons. I can't wait to take it into endgame content. So yeah, that'll be really exciting. Man, it is busy here. See, it's always a clown fiesta over at the Ring of Blood during the day. Alright guys, don't make the same mistake I did. I left the group with the aura buff before I turned in that last quest of Ring of Blood. So that was a mistake on my part, as I've got 2 bars left, but that's okay. I'm just gonna do a quick necessary quest where I just kill random stuff, and I should get that last 2 bars. Alright, what better way to end our TBC leveling experience than by picking up deer poop in the Outlands? I like that somebody at Blizzard all those years ago had to take the time to actually model this. I love that. What better way to hit level 70 than by turning in a poop quest from the Outlands? Alright, that's what I'm talking about. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to Orgrimmar, we're going to load up on Hands of Fate, we're going to start rolling, and we're going to see what we get. Okay, so I'm going to start us off with 31 Hands of Fate. Hopefully I can get a taunt like Growl, or maybe we can even get Challenging Roar. That would be great, but let's go ahead and open these up and take a look what we've got. Alright, so I just got Intervened. This is a pretty good tank tool. We can use this to jump to an ally and take a hit that they would usually take. This is a pretty good tool we can use as a tank, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Okay, so I think an AoE slow is a pretty nice thing to have too, and we have Piercing Howl here. This could be really good because it's usable in shapeshifted form, so this could be a very nice tool to get an AoE slow on our targets, and I haven't taken too many rare abilities yet, so I feel pretty comfortable taking Piercing Howl. It does cost a talent point though, but I think it's worth it. So after rolling my Hands of Fate, and visiting the auction house to help fill gaps in my gear, it was time to finally jump into Heroic Dungeons. And I'll be honest, at first, it was a bit rough. Alright, so there's definitely a big difficulty lead. I am certainly taking a lot more damage. A lot more damage. Gotta be honest, I was being quite confident coming in here. I am not as confident. I'm gonna skip mobs if I can. I'm not pulling that. Screw that. So we actually want to start spreading our stuff here. Our rabies, holy moly. Pop Arc Skin, popping Divine Protection. Holy moly, guys. This is getting pretty intense. First time tank, can't you tell? Am I doing tank things? Is this how it works? Holy cow, guys. A lot more debuffs and such? Yeah, you're telling me. There's a lot more. Did they add extra mechanics into Heroics? Like, that weren't in retail? I'm pretty sure they did. Like, they did their own additions and stuff. Okay, this ability hurts like a lot. How do I dodge this? How do we dodge the big AoE? Holy moly. Just get out of this. Get out of that. Come on. We did it. My first heroic dungeon as a bear tank. I'm proud. Look, I have to drop the bear pun tank joke because if not, people are just going to be mad that I'm a terrible bear tank. So, you know, dropping the bear pun instantly make things a lot lighter and de-escalates things, okay? I have to. Okay, so it turns out the whole room does get pulled when you do that boss. Okay. Alright. So tanking is a learning experience, okay? You'll learn a little bit more every time with every pull. You know? Like... So basically, the way that heroics are scaled, or they try to make heroics more difficult for players, is they think that more CC equals harder difficulty, right? That is the case, but not in a way that is very fun for anyone. Because CC is not a fun way to play dungeons. Like, being CC chained is not a fun difficulty. A fun difficulty would be like adding more mechanics that are interactive, stuff like that. So basically CC, just chain CCing is just the most unfun, uninteractive thing unless you've maybe got a hero that can get rid of this CC. So, because I've noticed now that every mob in this dungeon just fears you. Look, that guy's pet just got feared into a whole bunch of stuff. And I gotta pop everything. Literally pop everything. But things got a lot smoother as more tank items dropped, and everything just started to get a little bit easier. I should really use Fairy Fire more often. Ooh, guys, we got a really nice ring that just dropped. That is really good for us. After playing with the Plague Bear enchant for a bit, it was time to finally switch to Carnage Incarnate and see how that build compared. Alright, so I just swapped from Plague Bear over to Carnage Incarnate. I'm really excited to give this build a try, but basically what it does is it transforms our Rend into a usable form of it in our bear form. And what it does is it'll proc the Taste for Blood effect, which, if you know, is a Arms Warrior talent that basically lets us use overpower, but in this case it's going to empower our swipe. And what this does is our swipe will hit all targets around us to deal big bleed damage, and stacking up to 12 times, it will draw blood from them, and so when we fall below 50% health, it'll consume those blood stacks to heal us. It's a very cool, a very unique build. I also went ahead and I put points into Deep Wounds, and I put points into Blood Frenzy to deal that extra damage to all the targets that we affect with Deep Wounds. And since we are going to be running this new Rend called Carnage, which again is usable in bear form, I decided to put 2 points into Improved Rend to make sure that we have our Rend doing a little bit of extra damage. So let me go ahead and show you what this build looks like in practice. So basically, you're going to want to pop your Rend on a target. You're going to get this Taste for Blood proc, and then you are going to swipe, and you're going to see that everything around me is going to be getting a pretty nice bleed, and we're going to be getting stacks of consumed blood, which will give us that healing when we drop below 50% health. So I'm really excited to give this build a shot. It should be a lot of fun, and let's try it out. Oh, and one more thing, when you reach maximum stacks with the consumed blood proc, you get a thing called Carnage Incarnate, which basically gives you a small shield. So let's give this a shot, shall we? I know it's a meme, but I'm actually going to use Bear Attack for my third enchant because I can't think of anything else. Why not? Yeah. Okay, bears summoning bears is amazing. I don't care what anyone says, this is hilarious. No. Oh, there goes my bear. Oh no. No, he just pulled the pack. Bears, why? Honestly, Carnage Incarnate played basically pretty similar to how Plague Bear played, and honestly, I wasn't super impressed with the defensive component of the enchant. The consumed blood stacks didn't really seem to heal for a whole lot, and overall, I didn't see any difference in survivability. So ultimately, if I had to choose between the two enchants, I think I would pick Plague Bear as the winner. It's simple, yet very satisfying, and it has great epic enchant synergies and can hit very hard. I was hoping the defensive component of Carnage Incarnate would make it the better build, but I honestly think Plague Bear is just as good, if not better. And some of you might have noticed that I am excluding the Corrupted Bear Form enchant, which is a third option you can go for. But for the sake of not overloading this video, I might do that build for another video. But until then, I think I can safely say I've had a great time with this bear tank series. So thank you to everyone who dropped into my stream while I was leveling and doing these dungeons. You guys made it a lot more fun. I can't wait to show you guys what I'm working on next, so thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.